Thank you so much for inviting us up here. I mean, this place is gorgeous.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, and we're actually pretty close to where the incident took place.
Yes, you're probably 300 feet away.
Okay.
And this is exactly the way it was, right here.
Can we walk the same path that you took, and you can show us exactly where it happened?
Okay, we can start down this way.
Okay.
Here, through that opening in the trees, is where I came over and saw my dog entangled with this thing, and my dog was screaming for her life. And within seconds, this thing grabbed her head, her jaw, and ripped her head right in half, tearing her backbone completely out of her body. Blood, tissue everywhere. The remains of my dog was nothing but white ash on the ground, where it hit the ground and it was just ashes. So I hit it as hard as I could with this branch. And right at that point, I could see that behind those evergreens, there was a black-looking shape. And it was 3 feet off the ground. Nothing underneath it. Didn't make any sense. I tried to find logic in the moment. I couldn't find any.
Tell me where the point of it was.
Probably about where you are.
Okay.
It was 9.5 feet long, 2.5 feet thick, and 3.5 feet wide.
What led up to this footage that we saw?
I literally circled the body on the ground and brought the camera around, and I had the camera down almost between my legs. And the reason is I kept falling down. I kept throwing up over the top of the camera, over the side of the camera.
When did you decide that I'm taking this with me?
I thought, what I have imagined, it cannot be true. And so I picked it up and I drove back, and then I brought it in my house, put it on the floor, and got the video camera and photographed it.
Well, John, you're right. This is an amazing story. I really, really appreciate it. All right.
You know what I find really hard is that this guy sounds so genuine when he tells this story.
He's been telling this story for over 14 years now.
Well, that's true. He's had time to rehearse a script, if that's the case.
Thank you.
Looks real, doesn't it?
It does.
You've got the eyes, you've got the mouth, you've got the same texture that we're seeing.
Let's start the experiments and get this stuff down in the forest.
Okay.
The creature was right here next to this flag, so I'm gonna set him down here.
Okay, here's our video so that we can compare, try to get the positioning right.
All right, so we have a 53-inch alien. It has a polyurethane skull covered in a latex skin. It looks really good, but we're gonna see how it looks when we try to replicate it in the video.
Spack was up here, and then he came down, filmed it, and then kept going. The obelisk was back there.
So which way does the tip go?
The thinner part is gonna be on the right.
Perfect.
Yeah, that looks good.
So I drilled on this mount on the back side. We're gonna attach it to this Schedule 80 aluminum pipe that we've secured to the ground and wrapped in greenery. And hopefully from the vantage point, you won't be able to see the pole and it will appear to be floating in midair.
The video.
Let's do this. All right, Ben, are you ready to go?
Yep, I am ready.
Okay, I'm looking at the video here. Just remember to try to get some really erratic movement because Reed looks like he's searching with the camera.
Okay.
Are we ready to go?
Yep, count me down.
All right, ready? 3, 2, 1. guys. So one of the prime theories of Reed's followers are that the eyes are opening in his video, and this is proof to them that it is in fact a real alien. I have rigged up some servos and motors behind the eyes of this alien, and with this control box, I'll be able to connect it up to some wires and open these eyes automatically whenever we want.
This is pretty simple, right? This is like the same stuff you would use like in a remote control airplane or something, little tiny motors and just servos that run.
It's really not that complicated at all.
Okay.
All right, guys, I think the wound is all dressed. We're ready to go.
Okay, I'm recording.
3, 2, 1, start.
First, that way.
Okay. That.
Expose the legs. And now, here. We're getting closer. All right, your hand gets into frame. There you go.
Oh, his head,
Really
his head
good.
is slipping.
Okay, turn to the left. Now, you're prodding the eye.
Wow.
Okay, now he's touching the neck again.
Okay, now he comes around. Oh, that looks really good. Go this way to the
Blink.
front. He's walking, blink, blink.
And cut. I mean, it's difficult to actually follow the same exact steps, but we're getting it. The only concern I have is, you know, the time, the capital, and the skill that it takes to do something this elaborate.
It is elaborate, but the financial gain is tremendous. There is motive. Again, I appreciate your being extremely honest and open, and that's all I ask, is just a frank, honest discussion here. Okay, here we go. As many people have said, if true, it could be the biggest thing since the Roswell, New Mexico crash of '47. Or it could be the greatest, you know, fraud of all time.
I understand that, and I can sympathize with that thought. But I always have to say and bring it back to one thing. This is just my truth. It's my case. It's my story. It's what happened to me. It happened so quick that I didn't really know what completely I was looking at, except I saw this little creature pulling her jaw apart, with her sinew and her blood and her tissue being ripped apart.
What about your friends? You've talked about a lot of friends that went missing. One of your friends at the university was murdered in his office.
There are people actively, and I can't give you an alphabet name of the group, basically threatening people's lives.
You think this was our government?
There is a dark side, you know, of military-type people beating people up, killing them, or threatening their lives to make them silent.
I have yet to see independent study of the video, of the photographs. Nobody has been able to verify your credentials.
If we kill the messenger off,
Well, hear me out here, please.
Let me
okay.
finish.
Now, I've given you all this time to talk, okay? But just hear me out and hear what I have to say.
Okay.
There are so many things about this that just don't add up.
Everybody has their own opinion. That's okay. And I've continued to say that all the way along. You know, I don't expect people to believe it. I wouldn't believe it either if it didn't happen to me.
So you're going to stick to the story of what you said happened in the forest that day?
Yes, I am.
Okay. I've come here to personally hear your story and to hear your response to it. And Jonathan, you're not being truthful with me. We got into this with our experiment, and I could see how this was done, the more questions I had. So I talked with analysts from Layered Voice Technologies. With the use of their equipment, we were able to run some of Reed's statements, and this is how it was analyzed.
I saw this little creature pulling her jaw apart.
This is the part of the interview where Jonathan makes a statement that this is his truth and his reality.
This is just my truth. It's my case, it's my story, it's what happened to me.
In his head, this is what he really believes. Like, he's not lying anymore to us. He's telling us his truth.
Exactly. Psychologically, he's trying to detach himself from the deception.